states of matter. Now, I'm sure all of you are fairly familiar with the three states of matter, which are solids, liquids, and gases. But today, we're going to go through a deeper meaning behind these three states of matter. To do that, first, let's talk about what matter is. What is matter? Come to think about it, we are surrounded by matter every day in our daily lives. So if we think about it, matter is anything that is made up of particles, has mass, and anything that takes up space. Now let's go back to our states of matter. Are solids made up of particles? Now, even if we had a microscope, we may or may not be able to see it, but the truth is solids, liquids, and gas are all made up of particles. Do solids, liquids, and gases have mass? Yes, they do. Solids can really obviously have mass. Anything from a rock to a chair to a window to practically any solids, they all have mass. What about liquids? Do liquids have mass? Now, if we ever try to weigh liquids, such as whenever you go to the grocery store and buy a carton of milk, it will usually say 1 liter of milk. And so we can tell that liquids also have mass and volume. Oh, we haven't talked about volume. But do gases have mass? Yes, they do. We can weigh gas too. Just not in a way that you will see in your day-to-day life, but we can weigh gases. Now, do solids take up space? Now, anything from a rock or to a chair, like earlier I said, they all take up space, no matter what you do to them. So, solids do take up space. Do liquids take up space? Yes, they do. So, whenever you fill a water bottle with your water, that takes up space. Your water bottle is now filled with water. So yes, liquids do take up space. Now, do gases take up space? You may not be able to see gases in your day-to-day life, but yes, they are there and they do take up space. Such as whenever you blow a balloon, you see how every time it grows bigger and bigger? That's because you're inserting gas into it, and gas takes up space. So yes, we can confirm that gases do take up space indeed. Okay, so now we've talked about how solids, liquids, and gas are all similar. They're all made up of matter. But then what's the difference? Let's start by talking about solids. Now, solids are really close together. They're jumbled up and they stay that way. This means that solids have a definite shape. Now, that means that if you had a rock, have you ever tried to break a rock? As a child, I would always do this, but I never succeed. That's because rocks are made up of solids. Solids do not break easily. That's why they have a definite shape. Now, let's say I had 2 kilograms of flour, and I poured it into a big bowl. Do you think the amount of flour I had would change? Let's think about it a different way. If I had 3 rocks and I put it into a bowl, do you think the amount of rocks I had would change? No, that's because solids have a definite volume. That means if I had 1 kilogram, 2 kilograms, or 3 pounds, or even 10 pounds of flour, they would still have the same volume no matter how many bowls I put it into. Now let's talk about liquids. Okay, so let's draw a diagram of liquids. The thing about liquids is that you can't hold a liquid. That's because liquids take the shape of the container. That means if I pour the liquid into this container that I have, it would take the shape of this container. That means that if I tried to pour it into a different container, such as a bowl, then it would take the shape of a bowl. That means liquids don't have a definite shape, which is an indefinite shape. Now let's talk about the volume. If I had 2 liters of water and I poured it into a bowl, would the volume change? Would the amount of water I had change? No. That means liquids have a definite volume. Now, last but not least, let's talk about gases. Now, gases also take up the shape of the container they are put in. That means if I took a balloon and I tried to put some gas into it, the gas would take up the shape of the balloon. Now, gases are very far apart. That means that they do not have the strongest force of attraction. We're going to be talking about that in a minute. So, do gases have a definite shape? No, because they take the shape of the container they are put in. That means, like liquids, gases have an indefinite shape. Now, do gases have a definite volume? To think about this, try thinking about a few differently shaped balloons. 1 small balloon, 1 big balloon, and 1 medium-sized balloon. Let's say that if I tried blowing after 3 breaths into the balloon, the small balloon would stop increasing. That means I can't fit any more gas into it. So that means the balloon would have a small amount of gas in the balloon. Let's say this is our balloon. Now, our medium-sized balloon, the gas would take up the amount of space the medium balloon can be. The medium balloon can take up. Now, the biggest balloon, if I tried to blow into this balloon, it would take as much space as the gas can. So that means gases don't have an definite volume. That means they have an indefinite volume. Now for one more part that we haven't talked about. Forces of attraction. What is a force of attraction? Let's talk about it. Okay, so I'm going to show you what a force of attraction is by showing you the difference between all three of these diagrams. So I'm going to denote solids with an S. So solids look like this. I'm going to denote liquids with an L. And I'm going to denote gases with a G. Now, let's say one of these tiny dots is a molecule. This would definitely not be up to scale, but let's just think about it that way. So what's the difference between all three of these by the molecules in all three of these diagrams. The space between these molecules, that's the difference. So what really causes this space to take place? Well, that's the force of attraction. So looking at this, we can say the force of attraction is the space between these molecules. So that means that solids have a high force of attraction. That's because the molecules are closer together. So high force of attraction. Liquids have a low force. I wouldn't say liquids have a low force of attraction. They have a medium force of attraction. And last but not least, gases have a low force of attraction. Okay, so to summarize, solids have a definite shape, meaning they don't change their shape. Liquids do not have an indefinite shape. That means they can change their shape. Gases also have an indefinite shape, meaning they can change their shape. Solids have a definite volume. That means the amount of solid that you have won't change no matter what you do to it. Liquids also have a definite volume. And gases do not have an indefinite amount of volume. My bad. I should fix that. Now, solids have a high force of attraction, meaning that the molecules are closer packed together. Liquids have a medium force of attraction, meaning they are moderately close to each other. And gases have a low force of attraction, meaning they stay away from each other as much as possible. So this is an example of a solid. This is an example of a liquid. And this is an example of a gas. So I hope this video helped. Thanks for watching. Bye.